Pink is a breast cancer program for young women, and young is defined for our program pretty much as age 40 or younger at the time of diagnosis. That's about 5% of all women with breast cancer, which doesn't sound like a lot, but these women have a disproportionate number of problems in terms of breast cancer, higher recurrence rates, and more complications from their treatment, short-term and unfortunately long-term. This is the first program of its kind in Canada. Stage for stage, so the same size cancer in a woman who's 35 compared to a woman, say, who's 64, which is the average age of cancer in the general population, that 35-year-old will be more likely to recur and die of her cancer. We don't know exactly why. It's partly because the biology of these cancers at a molecular level seems worse. They seem to be much more aggressive. They're generally much faster growing. But it may also relate to our treatments, because when we do our studies of treatments, the average age of the women in the studies is 50, 55. And these women, some of them are 20, 25, 30. Maybe they need higher doses of drugs. Maybe they need different drugs. So a lot of our clinical trials may not be appropriate to them. Breast cancer death rates are going down, which is fantastic. But one of the big reasons these death rates are going down is because we screen women age 50 and over routinely with mammography, and that allows us to find cancers when they're very, very small before we can actually feel them. Either the woman can feel them or her doctor can feel them. We don't screen women under 40, almost never, unless they have an extremely bad family history. And that's appropriate because it's a relatively rare disease, but it means that by the time we find cancer in these women, the cancers are big. They very often spread to the lymph nodes. But the advantages we have in terms of reducing death rates don't really apply as well to these women. So, it may be 5% of all women, but it's a higher percentage of all death from cancer. Plus, in terms of how it affects their lives, their working, their families, and everything, that's clearly it's very different to be a retired woman, whose kids are grown up, or to be a mother of 3 small children, just starting maybe to get your career going, or maybe even being a single woman and then being diagnosed with breast cancer. What we'd like to do in this program is have research at every level. What we'd like to do is collect blood from these women, tumor specimens, get some questionnaires on what we call epidemiologic risk factors, smoking, drinking, birth control, family history, try to find out why these women got breast cancer, so maybe in the future we can identify young women who are at higher risk and prevent cancer. We also want to look at treatments. There are special ways to treat younger women. The standard hormones that we give older women can't necessarily be given to younger women. So we have special clinical trials for these women. Maybe they need more aggressive chemo, and we're going to be doing that. Plus we have a number of psychosocial trials for them. For example, we're developing a web-based intervention for young couples. So couples can work together, the patient and her husband, help bring them closer, because this can be a very troublesome thing for their marriage and their family.